Please subscribe my channel. The day my wife became a doctor was supposed to be the proudest day of our marriage. I still remember standing in the auditorium, clapping until my palms burned, watching her walk across the stage in that white coat she had chased for years. I didn't care that my suit was old or that I'd taken an unpaid day off work. All I could think was, we made it. She made it. We made it together. What no one saw was what it took to get there. For 7 years, my life revolved around her schedule. Night shifts, exams, rotations, emergencies that pulled her away mid-dinner. I learned to eat alone without making a big deal of it. I learned how to keep the house quiet when she studied, how to be supportive without being distracting. I paid more bills than I should have, worked overtime I didn't brag about, skipped vacations we couldn't afford. When people praised her discipline, I nodded along. When they called her strong, I agreed. I never corrected them. I never said anything about the sacrifices behind the scenes. I told myself that love was built in phases. This was her phase. Mine would come later. On the drive home from the ceremony, she was glowing, talking fast, laughing more than usual. Her phone buzzed constantly with congratulations. I reached over and squeezed her hand at a red light. She didn't pull away, but she didn't squeeze back either. I noticed it, then let it go. I'd been letting things go for a long time by then. That night, she said she wanted to go out. Just the two of us. Celebrate properly. I booked a small restaurant we used to like before her life became textbooks and call schedules. I even wore the watch she bought me years earlier, back when she still noticed small things. She barely touched her food. Halfway through dinner, she put her fork down and looked at me like she was preparing for a presentation. Calm, measured, almost professional. I knew that look. It was the one she used when delivering bad news to patients. She said she wanted a divorce. No build-up. No trembling voice. Just that sentence, clean and precise like a diagnosis. I waited for the rest of it. An explanation. A crack in her composure. Something. Instead, she reached into her bag and slid an envelope across the table. Papers. Already printed. Already signed. She said she didn't want to waste time anymore. That she had outgrown the marriage. That she needed someone who matched the person she was now. I remember nodding, not because I understood, but because my body was on autopilot. I paid the bill. I walked her to the car. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't ask how long she'd been planning this. I didn't ask if there was someone else. I didn't ask anything at all. That seemed to surprise her more than anger would have. We separated quietly. No dramatic fights. No social media posts. Most people assumed it was mutual. I let them. It felt easier than explaining how disposable I'd suddenly become. The months after were a blur of paperwork and empty rooms. The house felt too big without her, then too quiet, then just empty. Friends tried to cheer me up with cliches. New beginnings. Fresh starts. I nodded again. I was good at nodding by then. I heard updates about her through mutual acquaintances. New hospital. New colleagues. New confidence. She was thriving. Everyone said so. They talked about her like she was a success story, proof that hard work paid off. No one mentioned the husband who'd held things together while she climbed. I didn't resent her success. That's what confused me the most. I was still proud of her. Even after everything, I defended her when people hinted that she'd changed. I said people grow apart. I said life happens. I said all the reasonable things a reasonable man is supposed to say. What I didn't say was how invisible I felt. How easily my role had ended the moment it was no longer useful. How quickly support turned into inconvenience. 3 years passed like that. Quietly. I rebuilt my routines. New job. Smaller apartment. Fewer expectations. I learned how to be alone without feeling lonely. I stopped checking her social media. Stopped wondering if she ever thought about me. By then, I believed the story I'd told myself. That the divorce was just timing. That it wasn't personal. That I was simply a chapter she'd finished reading. Then one afternoon, I ran into someone who reminded me that wasn't the whole truth. It was her colleague. Someone I barely remembered from the early days. We made awkward small talk. They congratulated me on how well I seemed to be doing. Then, almost casually, they mentioned how my ex used to talk about me back then. During her residency. During the years I thought we were solid. They laughed like it was harmless. Like it was nothing. I didn't laugh back. That was the moment I realized the divorce hadn't started the day she became a doctor. It had started long before that.